Why is Donald Trump and the Republican Party are extremely bad for the middle class, and particularly people of color? We have heard their philosophy and seen the policies. They say the wealthy are the job creators. When they do well, we all benefit. Is that really true? Let's break down the average CEO's salary compared to the average worker's salary from 1970 to now. 1970s. The average CEO's salary, around $700,000. Please note that all salaries were inflation adjusted to 2024 dollars. And the average worker's salary, approximately $20,000. The CEO's salary was only 35 times higher than the average worker's salary. Now the 1980s, the Ronald Reagan years, the trickle-down economics. The average CEO salary, about $1.2 million, while the average worker's salary was only around $25,000. CEO salary was approximately 48 times higher than the average worker's salary. The 1990s, average CEO salary, roughly $2.5 million in the average worker's salary, approximately $30,000. Now CEO salary was 83 times higher than the average worker's salary. In the 2000s, CEO salary, around $5.2 million, and the worker's salary was only $40,000. Now CEO salary was a crazy 130 times higher than the average worker's salary. The situation got worse from 2010 to now. CEO salary ballooned to be over $10 million. However, the average middle-class worker salary is just around $50,000. The average CEO salary is possibly more than 200 times higher than the average worker's salary, from 35 times higher to over 200 times higher. This is just one example of the economic inequality in America. The rich keep getting richer. Economic inequality. Why is Joe Biden and the Democrats are better than Donald Trump and the Republican Party for the middle class? Economic inequality casts a long shadow over the middle class, with its heaviest toll falling on communities of color. Let's dig into this issue through the lens of Bloomberg's insightful reporting. We will get into the policies and impacts under both the Biden and Trump administrations. The wealth gaps. Policies shaping wealth distribution significantly impact everyday families. During the Trump era, tax cuts primarily benefited the wealthiest, widening the chasm between rich and poor. Conversely, Biden's administration has proposed tax reforms that could potentially alleviate financial burdens on middle and low-income families, redirecting resources towards education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Now, the rest of the story. For the average family, Trump's tax cuts may have provided a modest short-term boost, but the long-term consequences of widening wealth inequality meant fewer resources for essential services like education and healthcare. In contrast, Biden's proposed tax reforms could mean more support for families struggling to make ends meet, potentially easing the burden of everyday expenses, more money for groceries, rent, childcare, and paving the way for upward mobility. Employment opportunities are critical for family stability. Under Trump, unemployment rates skyrocketed, disproportionately affecting communities of color. Biden's administration has prioritized job creation through infrastructure projects and initiatives promoting fair labor practices, aiming to narrow the employment gap and provide families with stable income. Equal access to education and home ownership are linchpins of economic mobility. Trump's rollbacks of anti-discrimination regulations hindered progress in these areas, perpetuating cycles of inequality, not addressing the elephant in the room: systemic racism in America. Conversely, Biden's administration has championed initiatives to expand access to education and housing, recognizing them as vital pathways to prosperity for average families. Trump's policies have deepened the divide in access to education and housing, limiting opportunities for many families to build a better future. In contrast, Biden's emphasis on expanding access to these essential resources offers hope for families striving to break free from economic constraints, opening doors to better jobs and better lives. The strength of social safety nets can make a crucial difference for struggling families. Trump's attempts to cut funding for programs like Medicaid and SNAP threaten the stability of countless households. Biden's administration, on the other hand, has sought to fortify and expand these safety nets, providing much-needed support for families facing economic hardship. So, what does it really mean? The policies and priorities of Donald Trump and Joe Biden presidency will profoundly impact the economic well-being of average American families. As we navigate economic inequality, it is imperative to vote for policies that prioritize the needs of working families, promote fairness and opportunity, and pave the way for a more equitable society for all. Voting really matters. Register and vote in every election. Use your power to change yours and your children's lives.
Support the channel, subscribe, like, comment, and share.